Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. The need for collaborative partnerships in the South African mining industry, mine closures and operational restructuring come under the spotlight. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Hi Martin.
Hi Mia.
Platinum miner Royal Bafokeng Platinum has given evidence that collaborative partnerships instead of heavy-handed laws are needed in the South African mining industry.
You know, this is fantastic in the South African mining industry, how businesses collaborate. There's nowhere else in the world, I can guarantee you, where businesses have collaborated to such an extent that big businesses have built small businesses. And here you see this collaboration between Anglo-American Platinum and Royal Bafokeng Platinum is an example of the way that you can grow a new company by just interacting between the big and the less big, and how you can make a small company very big, as we see with Royal Bafokeng Platinum. They made a point at the presentation of results this week of saying that they are very acknowledging of the role that Anglo-American Platinum has played. They were laudatory of the people that have gone out of their way to build this company. Now, the Bafokeng community, 350,000 people in Rustenburg, you know, they've been blessed by being in an area where you have the world's greatest resource of platinum. They also come against the background of a situation where the Lutheran Church centuries ago said to them, you know, in this new world of South Africa, people talk about title deeds. You must get title deeds to this area because then it'll be you. So, you know, an impi ran down to Kimberley and they worked on those Kimberley mines until they raised enough money to buy that land. And then they went to Paul Kruger and said, look, we want this land. Must be our land. And so there was an attempt during the apartheid years to take this away from them, because you had the homelands policy, and that was Baputa Tswana, and there was a lot of tension. But fortunately, they clung on under this title deed, and now they've got this base from which they work. And that offshoot of this is Royal Bafokeng Platinum. They have now got their own platinum company. It is a company that you see, they operate. They don't sit there as passive pilots. They work this at the BPO, at the Bafokeng Rasamoni Platinum Mine, which is now 100% theirs, because the last shareholding of Anglo-American Platinum has been sold to them now. They have actually rejigged that company, and you can see that it's got a lot of promise because its Merensky ore is of the highest quality. But on top of that, they've got a fantastic growth project, the Stale Drift project. This has been de-risked, it's ready to go. And this has all been through collaboration, not some heavy-handed law, you know, on top of a company saying you will do this and you will do that, as these laws try to do these days. No, this was voluntary stuff done ahead of the pack, and we see the outcome is a company called Royal Bafokeng Platinum, that even in these murky times of low platinum price, they're still coming through there. They're still engaging in organic growth. They're still even engaging in acquisitive growth, where they're buying up key neighbors like Massive, so that they can really, once this turns and becomes favorable, they will be in a very good position.
Meanwhile, the Department of Mineral Resources is showing strong tendencies to resist companies that apply to shut down or place mines on care and maintenance.
You know, at this point in time, what the department does not want to see is a Section 189 notice of the Labour Relations Act. Because what has happened is that you've got a lot of people now lined up for retrenchment, and the moment they get that Section 189, they know this is going to be labour reduction. So they then start thinking, but where are these people going to go? So in this climate at the moment where the economy is not growing and we've got a high unemployment rate, they don't want to hear about that. But what is the government going to do for a company that, like, you know, you have a company that drastically needs to restructure? What is the company going to do when it says, oh no, you must look, the company must now look at Section 52 of the MPRDA. They mustn't now concern themselves with retrenchment. They must look at a commercial solution. But what if you are that company being told, no, you mustn't retrench, you must now look at a commercial solution? How long is that going to take you? How much cash are you going to burn in the meantime? Now, couldn't there be some collaboration? We've been talking about collaboration. At these desperate situations, can't there be some innovation from the government where they don't just point a finger at the business all the time, but they work together and say, okay, if you're going to retrench X number of people, they're not going to pay tax anyway. So we're going to lose that tax. So maybe, would it be an incentive if we said no tax for those people, and in that way, you, as the company, benefited from not having to pay as you earn type tax that would stay in the system, or some sort of incentive to make sure that these companies are not just hit over the head, with a hammer and the law, and told you will do this and you will do that, when it's almost becoming impossible to do this and that. There should be some sort of collaboration. I've just mentioned one example. There could be a tax break or something, but I'm sure there are many other things that could be done. And in terms of this particular section of the MPRDA, they're supposed to set up a board and discuss all these things. I'm sure something good will come out of this, but time is of the essence. And how quickly are they going to do it? And you've got this terrible Mining Charter 3 hanging over everything, and you've got an election coming up. You've got a lot of other problems in the country. Surely they should come, even if they come to an interim solution, there must be something here that makes sure people don't land up on the streets, but at the same time, cash is not burned to a point where the mining company is in danger of closing down.
But Impala Platinum is one company that will drastically restructure its Rustenburg operations. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, this was an incredible restructuring strategy that Impala Platinum came up with to the media, that they were talking about reducing their 40,000 people to 27,000 people, so retrenching over 2 years, 13,000 people. Now, the last time we heard those sort of numbers was way back when I think Cynthia Carroll was still with Anglo-American Platinum, and she suggested that they do reduce 14,000 people, but they reskill them. And at that stage, it was totally rejected. But you can see that for some time now, people have been worried about the numbers of people, because you're into these deeper assets and they're becoming more expensive, and it's not as if Eskom lets you off the hook or anybody lets you off the hook, or they say, you've got a special job you're doing here, we'll give you some sort of break or other. Nothing like that happens. So the worst case scenario was presented by Impala Platinum, but realistically, if they're going to be sustainable, this is what they have to do. They will reduce 230,000 ounces of production over 2 years. Now that could also assist, because people are saying, too much platinum is produced, and if you cut it in this way, but other jurisdictions around the world, they would just immediately say, look, we're retrenching these people, we're cutting this. Because of our social situation, the social economic situation, we don't work like that in South Africa. We're far more sensitive to the actual realities. But this sensitivity must also be appreciated by the government, because these businesses are being sensitive. They are just telling you what the real situation is and how it should move in order to be sustainable. That, we could see, angered the government to a point where I think we say it became a crisis. It is a crisis. There was some heated words from the government, not from business. Business was very conciliatory. The Impala Platinum were waxing lyrical about the department and the cooperation, but the department was exceedingly hostile. So a crisis has developed. They say never, let a good crisis get away, because you can actually solve problems in a crisis. And in typical South African style, we need to solve a problem now that Impala Platinum has. They're burning 3.5 billion rand a year in cash. You can't keep on burning that. What are your shareholders going to do? And who are shareholders there? Look, among the big shareholders is the Bafokeng community. This was an asset that they had, but it can also present problems, as we see now, because the world, for some reason or other, has become anti-diesel. And because, when I say the world, the European world, parts of Europe, not really the world, there's an anti-diesel sentiment, and the platinum is needed in the diesel to make sure that you don't pollute the atmosphere of these big cities and they can breathe the air. But people have turned against diesel because of the cheating that took place in the United States when they tried to gild the lily falsely, and then people started to look back at the whole and intensively search what is this diesel all about, and they're not satisfied with the way the catalytic conversion takes place, where you make sure these emissions are not polluting. They're saying no, this is not happening. But what you can see is that perhaps they should be using more platinum in a lot of these situations. Some of the vehicle manufacturers are already coming forward to make sure that they've got that platinum, and there are also other situations. You don't need to put such a strain on palladium because they're all going to petrol now, so that requires palladium. That's pushing that price up. The other thing is that soon probably the price will be so high they'll take platinum anyway, because you can use the platinum in the situation. A lot of complications in the market, mainly overblown because and unjustified. The price being so low of platinum at, you know, in the $870 an ounce is not justified, but it's based on this reaction, particularly in Europe, whereas you see, you know, more platinum is being used in diesel elsewhere in the world. That's not being acknowledged by the market. So the sentiment, this bad sentiment in the market, that's the biggest issue at the moment that they need to deal with by putting the facts out there well to that market and making sure that, you know, companies like Impala Platinum, which are desperately trying to make sure that their deep, dark and dangerous ore situation is dealt with in a proper way, and looking forward to their new projects where they can ramp up, and also other projects in Limpopo that will be lower level, and some in Zimbabwe that will be more economical. They're looking to that to make sure that the business stays together. You don't want the whole business to collapse because you are refusing to deal with the problem children.
Thank you for talking to us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Mia.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.